In 1925, the United States Department of Agriculture authorized sodium nitrite for use in commercial cured meats through a single regulatory amendment. No long-term safety study preceded that authorization. The requirement to prove a food additive safe before approving it did not exist until 1958. Sodium nitrite was grandfathered in. The last federal safety reassessment of sodium nitrite occurred in 1984. In October 2015, the World Health Organization's Cancer Research Division published its verdict after reviewing more than 800 studies. 22 scientists from 10 countries. One conclusion: processed meat is a Group 1 carcinogen. The same evidence category as tobacco smoke. The same evidence category as asbestos. The United States issued no new regulatory review in response. What the industry did instead is the reason this video exists. They did not remove the compound. They renamed it and built a second market around the rename. That second market now charges a premium for a product the label describes as clean. What the label does not tell you is that the renamed version may contain more of the compound than the original, not less, more. By the time this is over, you will know exactly what the ingredient list on that premium package is hiding. In plain sight, in legal language, under a term the regulatory system does not require anyone to explain to you. You will know the one word to look for that changes everything you thought you understood about the clean label. The North American Meat Institute spent $5.47 million on federal lobbying between 1998 and 2020. The global processed meat market is valued at $707 billion. The compound at the center of a confirmed carcinogen classification has been in continuous commercial use for 100 years without a single completed federal safety review since the classification was made. Hold that thought. It will mean more in 10 minutes than it does right now. Sodium nitrite is not primarily a preservative. Its most visible function is cosmetic. It reacts with the protein in muscle tissue to produce a compound called nitrosomeoglobin. The molecule responsible for the pink color in ham, the red in bacon, the consistent appearance of Deli turkey that has been sitting in refrigerated transit for 2 weeks. Without sodium nitrite, commercially cured meat turns gray. The preservation function is real and the safety record is genuine. At regulated levels, sodium nitrite inhibits the growth of Clostridium botulinum, the bacterium that produces the toxin responsible for botulism. Since the compound's authorization in 1925, no cases of botulism have been linked to commercially prepared cured meats produced under standard nitrite protocols. That record is not in dispute, and this video does not dispute it. What happens downstream is the question. When sodium nitrite enters your digestive tract alongside the protein breakdown products your stomach generates during meat digestion, fragments of amino acids called secondary amines, a chemical reaction produces a class of compounds called N-nitroso compounds, which include nitrosamines. Nitrosamines react directly with DNA. They induce a specific mutation pattern found in many colorectal tumors. This reaction accelerates under heat. Frying bacon at high temperature produces significantly more nitrosamines than eating the same bacon without cooking. Every 50 grams of processed meat consumed daily raises colorectal cancer risk by 18% over a lifetime. 50 grams is roughly 2 strips of bacon or 2 slices of deli ham. That finding comes from the same 2015 review that produced the Group 1 classification. Vegetables also contain nitrates. Spinach averages roughly 2,036 milligrams of nitrate per kilogram. Bacon averages approximately 178 milligrams per kilogram. Spinach is associated with lower cancer risk. The difference is context. In vegetables, nitrates arrive alongside vitamin C and plant polyphenols, compounds that steer the chemistry toward nitric oxide, a cardiovascular signaling molecule that dilates blood vessels. In processed meat, nitrite arrives alongside heme iron and animal protein fragments, the precise chemical environment that drives nitrosamine formation instead. The compound is identical. The matrix determines the outcome. That distinction does not appear anywhere on the package. The science on this is not fully settled, and the counter-argument deserves to be named directly. Modern cured meat products manufactured under current regulations require the simultaneous addition of sodium ascorbate or sodium erythorbate, vitamin C derivatives, which inhibit nitrosamine formation by 80 to 100% under typical cooking and storage conditions. Countries with high cured meat consumption, such as Austria, do not show elevated colorectal cancer rates compared to the European average. The relative risk increase of 18% applies to regular daily consumption at meaningful quantities, not to the occasional sandwich. Those are the facts on the other side. They belong in this account. What also belongs in this account is what happened every time a regulatory body tried to act on the concern. In 1906, the man who would become known as the father of the Food and Drug Administration, Dr. Harvey Wiley, USDA chief chemist, attempted to ban nitrate as a food additive. The American Meatpackers Association was created in direct response to that attempt. Wiley did not prevail. In 1925, the USDA authorized the compound Wiley had tried to ban 19 years earlier. In 1978, a Massachusetts Institute of Technology researcher named Paul Newburn published findings in the journal Science. Sodium nitrite raised lymphoma incidence in rats from 5.4% in control animals to 10.2% in treated animals. The Food and Drug Administration and the USDA announced plans to phase sodium nitrite out of the American meat supply. The Washington Post reported the planned removal on August 18, 1978. A review group called Universities Associated for Research and Education in Pathology was commissioned to re-examine Newburn's original tissue slides. Their review concluded the difference in cancer incidence was not statistically significant. On August 20, 1980, the Washington Post reported the ban had been abandoned. No new long-term animal study was initiated following that reversal. The National Academy of Sciences reviewed existing data in 1981. No federal safety reassessment has taken place since 1984. In October 2015, the World Health Organization classified processed meat as a confirmed human carcinogen. The United States issued no new regulatory review in response. In 2016, the North American Meat Institute formally contacted the Carcinogen Identification Committee, a United States regulatory body, and requested that the committee refrain from classifying nitrite combined with amines or amides as carcinogenic at its November meeting of that year. That communication was later obtained through public records requests by the nonprofit investigative organization U.S. Right to Know. Between 1998 and 2020, the North American Meat Institute spent $5.47 million on federal lobbying, according to Open Secrets. A 2021 study published in the journal Climatic Change calculated the organization's total lobbying expenditure since 2000 at nearly $200 million. Since 1990, meat companies have made more than $27 million in political contributions, with approximately 75% directed to Republican candidates and conservative groups. The last federal safety reassessment of sodium nitrite was completed 41 years before this video was made. What filled the space between 1984 and now is a question the lobbying disclosures raise without answering. The package exists in every major grocery chain in the United States. Clean design, muted tones, the words, "No nitrates or nitrites" added. In smaller type, often following an asterisk, except for those naturally occurring in celery juice powder. Celery contains among the highest natural nitrate concentrations of any vegetable. When celery powder is added to meat, bacteria already present in the meat convert those plant-derived nitrates into nitrites during processing. The nitrite then performs exactly the same functions as synthetic sodium nitrite: preservation, color fixation, and antimicrobial activity. The USDA has stated this in formal regulatory language. There is no difference in terms of human health risk between nitrate from celery or other plant-based sources and synthetic nitrates and nitrites used in conventionally cured meats. The compound is chemically identical. The label says otherwise. Synthetic sodium nitrite in bacon is capped by federal regulation at 120 parts per million, a precise, legally enforceable ceiling established under 9 CFR 424.22. The amount of celery powder a manufacturer may add to a product is not regulated. No maximum exists. Research has documented nitrate residue in naturally cured products running 10 times higher than levels found in conventionally cured products. The product with the cleaner label and the higher price may contain more of the compound the label implies it does not contain. The celery powder may also appear in the ingredient list simply as natural flavoring, not as a curing agent, not as a source of nitrates or nitrites, natural flavoring. In August 2019, Consumer Reports and the Center for Science in the Public Interest filed a formal petition to the USDA Food Safety and Inspection Service. They requested that the words "uncured" and "no nitrates or nitrites" added be prohibited on any product processed with celery powder or other plant-derived nitrate sources. They requested mandatory disclosure of nitrate and nitrite sources in legible type. They requested a regulated maximum for celery powder, equivalent to the 120 parts per million ceiling that governs synthetic sodium nitrite. As of the production of this video, no final rule has been issued. The consumer standing at the refrigerated case has no mechanism to know what the label does not say. That is not an accident. It is a weekday morning. The grocery store is quiet at this hour. Cold air moves through the refrigerated aisle. You stop at the deli case. 2 packages of bacon sit side by side. The one on the left, conventional pink label, sodium nitrite listed plainly in the ingredients, 20 parts per million, regulated, disclosed. The one on the right, clean craft paper packaging, hand-lettered font, a price $11 higher per pound. No nitrates or nitrites added. You turn it over. Ingredients: pork belly, sea salt, cultured celery juice powder, cherry powder. You already know what cultured celery juice powder is. You know what it does in the meat. You know there is no regulated ceiling on how much of it they used. You know the label is not lying. You know what it is not saying. You set it back on the shelf. You think about Parma, about a ham produced under a protected designation of origin that prohibits nitrite addition entirely, cured with salt, thyme, and temperature-controlled mountain air under a specification the consortium has enforced for centuries. You can order it. It exists. It costs more than either package in front of you. The cold air hums against your face. You pick up the conventional package, the one that says exactly what it contains, and you read the ingredient list in 4 seconds. You know what you are choosing. That is the only thing this kind of knowledge actually gives you: clarity. In the United Kingdom, a producer called Finnebrogue developed a curing system using rosemary extract and other botanical compounds. No celery powder, no synthetic sodium nitrite, no compressed regulatory loophole. Their founder has stated publicly that while overall demand for conventional bacon is in long-term decline in the United Kingdom, demand for Finnebrogue's genuinely nitrite-free products continues to grow. Their legal mechanism is straightforward: a botanical preservation system validated under existing food safety standards, combined with modified atmosphere packaging and precise refrigeration protocols. No exemption required, no loophole needed. A different process submitted for approval on its own terms. In Italy, the Parma Ham Consortium enforces production rules under a protected designation of origin that has prohibited added nitrites for centuries. Prosciutto di Parma is produced with 3 ingredients: pork, salt, and thyme. The same structure governs Bayonne ham in France and certain traditional Spanish products under their own protected designations. These products are not niche. They are available in the United States through specialty retailers and direct importers. Their price reflects a production process that cannot be industrially compressed. In the United States, the Food Safety and Inspection Service operates a prior label approval process, documented under 9 CFR 412.1F, through which producers may apply to use alternative preservation systems in place of synthetic sodium nitrite. Applications are evaluated case by case. The path is narrow, slow, and expensive. It exists. The practical step available to you on Monday morning costs nothing. On any product labeled uncured or no nitrates added, turn the package to the ingredient list. If you see celery juice powder, cultured celery juice, or any celery-derived ingredient, you now know what the front of the package is not telling you. If the ingredient list contains none of those terms and the product is cold-smoked or salt-cured with no curing agents listed, you are looking at a genuinely different product. If you want to avoid the compound entirely in processed meat, seek products under a protected designation of origin with verified no-nitrite production rules, or contact the producer directly and ask for their curing specification. A producer with nothing to hide will send it. The knowledge costs nothing. The choice is now yours to make with accurate information. They approved it before the safety requirement existed, never reviewed it after the carcinogen classification arrived, and built a labeling system that lets the renamed version sell at a premium without disclosing what it contains. 10 years from now, you will stand in that same grocery aisle. The packages will look more sophisticated. The marketing language will be more refined. You will turn the package over, read the ingredient list in 4 seconds, and know exactly what you are looking at. The person beside you will read the front of the package and feel good about their choice. That gap between what the label says and what it means is what every investigation in this series is built around. If closing that gap matters to you, subscribe so you do not miss the next system we document. Share this with someone who is still paying a premium for the uncured label and does not know what is behind it.